Hello there folks, and I thank you for joining me once again at my tying bench. Now today's fly is something a little different. Where I live we have a run of American shad every spring during early May and June, and I thought I'd share a fly with you that I tie for fishing the shad with. And if you have shad in your area, definitely give a few of these a try. It's a very simple and fast one to tie. And you can tie it in an array of different color combinations with chenille or floss, whatever you wish to use. And they're generally, you weight them as well, and I fish them with a sink tip line or a full sink. And I thought I'd bring you along with this one today in case you have shad where you live and get the opportunity to fish them. You can tie some of these up. So we'll get this guy the vise here, fresh hook in, I'll get started. And the hook I'm using is a size 8 jig style hook. Just a generic brand here. And I have a gold bead on it and 6 wraps of 0.15 lead wire super glued up into the bead there. So we'll get that locked down in the vise here. Okay, just like so. Alrighty, now for thread I'm using UTC. You can use, doesn't have to be too particular on the thread, but I'm just using ultra thread 140 in white. As long as there's a decent strength to the thread, you can use whatever you wish. So we'll proceed here by just starting behind the lead with our thread. We'll go up over the lead a little bit. It's not really necessary where it's super glued in, but I put a few wraps over it anyway. And we'll come back to the bend, trim off our excess tag end here. Okay, go forward a little bit. Now I got, for the tail you like to use UV crystal flash. I got some pink here, some light pink. I'm going to tie in 4 strands here. And then once I tie them in, I'm going to fold it back. So we'll tie those in right back to where we left our thread there. Go forward again, and I'll fold those back. And we'll wrap those in for our tail. That's fine. Then come forward, just behind the lead. Okay, so I'll snip that about the length of the gap of the hook there, or somewhere close to that. Oops, okay. Now for the body, the first half I'm using some white chenille. So I'm going to peel some of that off for the, show the thread core there and catch that in. Okay, wrap that back to in front of our tail. And forward, nice tight wraps. Okay. Now, this chenille was on a card, so what I like to do, if you get any chenille that's on a card, you may notice that it's really flattened out. Just give it a little spin. That'll get it that rounded shape to it once again before you wrap it. And I'm just going to use the rotary here and wrap this up. Okay. Alrighty. Just wrap that forward. One more wrap. Okay, move my thread back here out the way. Catch that in here this time. Alright. Catch that in right there. So more or less the pink is just a pink hot spot on the head of this fly. It's pretty much, the body's pretty near all white. Another popular color is chartreuse and white. Red and white is an old favorite. So I got that tied in, so now we're going to catch in the pink. So I'll grab some pink here and we'll do the same. I'll catch that in here, right behind the bead like so. Right back a ways, forward. Okay, same thing. I'm going to spin this chenille clockwise just to give it a more fuller rounded shape. Okay, then I'm just going to make my wraps here until I want to tie off. Okay, right behind the bead. Okay, a couple wraps behind and in front. Once again, snug it down tight. Snip off the excess, just like so. There we go, folks. That shows you how quick this fly is to tie. And you can also change the beads up if you want. If you have any color beads that you have, just change them up. I tie in a whack of different color combos and stuff, different beads and whatnot. So now I'll take a little Loctite here, super glue, and put on my thread wraps, just like so here. Make a couple wraps. Then I'll bring in the whip finisher, make a 4 or 5 turn whip finish. Okay, do that up here. There we go. Okay. And we'll snug that down, nice and snug there. Okay. I'll come in and snip that off. There we go. Okay, so that's it. Very quick to tie. You could tie up a dozen or so very quick if you're heading out shadding. And like I say, try them in a lot of different colors if you decide to tie some of these up. And you can also don't have to use chenille necessarily. Like I was saying, you can use floss for the body. Any kind of material you want, as long as it's a bright fluorescent colors, bright colors. The shads seem to really key on the bright colors. So anyway, I just want to tie something different for you and hope that you get an opportunity to catch shad in your area and you can tie some of these up. So I really do appreciate you watching once again. I also want to mention I hope to have a shad fishing video in the near future on my channel, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to try to get out to the river next week, and hopefully it's not raining. I can get a decent video for you. So I just want to mention that. So if you haven't seen my videos before and you'd like to subscribe, hit that good old subscribe button there and throw in a like too if you wish. And if you have any comments, throw them down below. So folks, like I always say, happy tying out there. I shall see you all again soon, and so long for now.